Us now is the ranking member of the House Ways and Means Committee, Representative Kevin Brady of Texas. Congressman, welcome to the Halftime Report. It's nice to see you. I hope you're well.
Scott, I'm good. How about you?
Doing well. Thank you. So where do we stand on this? I mentioned Main Street needs help. We hear it every single day, and there's no patience whatsoever for partisan politics in getting them their money. So where are we on this?
Yeah, so I agree. And I think the nearly $3 trillion Congress has already allocated is making a big difference. Certainly it is in the paycheck protection loans for our small businesses. I think more fine tuning can be done there to help businesses understand what is forgivable, and also adjustments on the length, the period of that program. I think that could help our businesses continue to rebuild. I think the biggest threat right now is this $3 trillion bill by the Democrats. Look, this isn't time for politics. We've managed to work together on 4 different packages. Why can't we do it again? I think the way the bill is structured, it is a recipe for a prolonged recession because it does virtually nothing to help focus on the 36 million Americans who are temporarily jobless. We want to make sure they're not permanently jobless. That's where our focus needs to be.
You know, what's frustrating to some, it seems like it's always politics with you all. No matter, it takes 2 to tango, Congressman. You know that. In getting anything done, it's taking longer than should be the case. There are real people on real streets and real homes who are hurting. What can we get done, and when can we get it done? What's the biggest issue that you have with the plan itself?
Yeah, so one, there hasn't been even a tango in this 5th phase. We haven't had a single discussion. Democrats aren't talking to the White House, not talking to Senate Republicans, certainly not talking to House Republicans. We're eager to have those discussions. I think rather than go big, as a speaker has said, let's go smart. Let's focus on what it takes to reopen this economy safely, help businesses rebuild their workforce, and perhaps more importantly than anything, help businesses obtain the tests, the protective gear, and reconfigure their offices and workplaces so it's healthy and safe for workers and customers. That, I think, can rebuild the confidence to allow us to reopen much sooner.
You're saying $3 trillion is too big? I mean, even the Federal Reserve Chairman, Congressman, was on talking yesterday. No, I'm sorry?
No, Scott, I'll let you finish. I apologize.
No, I mean, you said rather, that the speaker wants to go big. The Federal Reserve Chairman was saying yesterday, look, we realize we're spending a lot of money. More needs to be done on the fiscal side. Yes, it's going to be costly, but there really is no other alternative. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, of course, what he said, but that was the crux of his comments. Is $3 trillion too much?
Yeah. I don't think it's the number here. I don't think the Fed chairman said, look, adopt a $3 trillion bill that is focused on early voting, marijuana banking, early release of criminals, all the stuff that's included in this bill. I think his point was we should continue to find ways to help this economy rebound. And I really think it is to focus on getting those jobless back into work. And to do that on Main Street, we need to focus on making sure the programs we put in place are working to their maximum. I don't think we're there yet. I do think we need to redesign this unemployment benefit. It is chasing workers away from their work. This bill will make it worse. We also, I believe we can help businesses reconfigure their workplaces, get the testing and the gear they need to reopen. I think that, too, is key to rebound. So this isn't about a number, a go big number. It's about being smart. And in my view, the Democrats' bill is anything but.
The speaker is proposing $1 trillion to the states, Congressman Brady. The president, as you know, has gone after blue states and their governors. He has tweeted, quote, why should the people and taxpayers of America be bailing out poorly run states like Illinois, as example, and cities in all cases Democrat run and managed when most of the other states are not looking for bailout help? I'm open to discussing anything, but just asking, why should helping the states who are hurting be turned into a partisan issue?
Well, it isn't. Thankfully, Congress has already allocated over $760 billion for our state and local governments and the communities. That's more than we've sent to our small businesses. The problem we have today, many governors, unfortunately, are refusing to pass down Congress's help to our smaller communities. Many simply haven't even received the dollars yet. The second challenge we have is, with a few exceptions, my estimate is that most states and counties and cities haven't and won't spend even a third of what they've been sent on the COVID-related expenses. And so before we talk about another $1 trillion, let's observe how the nearly $1 trillion we've sent is working and how we can make it work better for our local communities. That's not partisan. That makes sense.
No, but surely you know that as a result of this crisis, tax revenues, for example, are down, along with a number of other financial issues that states are having. The Senate Majority Leader McConnell has suggested that these states should file for bankruptcy. Do you agree with him?
Well, I think his focus was on states that have failing pension systems. Not all states do. I think his point was taxpayers around the country shouldn't be bailing out failed pension plans that a certain state created. I think we can all agree on that. As for providing help for our state and local governments, let's see how far the $760 billion we've sent goes and if it hits the mark, and then let's have that discussion. The other thing is, again, if we want revenues up at the local level, let's get people back to work. Let's get businesses reopening safely as they are in Texas. That is going to drive the sales tax revenues that, frankly, our state and local governments are rightly concerned about.
Some states are reopening even though they don't even meet the White House's own guidelines. Are you comfortable with that?
Well, I know Texas best. We're starting our third week of the reopening. Governor Abbott has done it with a strong focus on maximum pressure on the virus. But what we're seeing is our testing is at the highest level yet. Our virus positive cases are flattening out. The infection rates are down. So are our hospitalizations. And our fatality rate per capita is 6 times better than the national average. So I think the way Governor Abbott is doing it, very cautiously, smart, focusing on the healthcare, but getting people back to work. I can tell you, Scott, there is a whole different attitude in our state because now we can see a light at the end of the tunnel. Not that we don't keep the pressure on the virus, but people are starting to come back to work, starting to see a few orders coming in. That's healthy, both for the economy and for our families.
This is why I do want to talk to you about the sort of recovery that you see. What kind of bounce back are you expecting? The president has been pushing a narrative that we're going to have a big bounce in the second half of the year. Larry Kudlow has echoed that. Is that realistic based on where we are today, Congressman, or is it going to take a little bit longer than people first thought?
It could be. Here's the challenge, Scott. As you know, this is also unprecedented. And whether it is Chairman Powell or anyone else, we just simply don't know. I think if you ask the question, will our economy be better this summer, in July, August, and September, my answer would be yes, it will be. How fast we rebound really depends upon, in some cases, the policy decisions Congress makes. And that's why I think we should focus not on just throwing money out of a helicopter. I think we ought to be focused on helping those jobless get back to work so that they're not permanently out of work. And if we focus there, both parties, this rebound will be stronger.
I certainly hope you're right. I know everybody does about a summer snapback. Maybe the virus subsides a bit, and we can get things going. And people need help, Congressman. I mean, we've been advocates for it. I'm going to continue to do that. I hear from them every day and every night on our special report. People need help, and they need it now. They're just tired of this partisanship back and forth. I want to finish with a question, if I might, on the latest on Senator Burr. He is under investigation, as you know, for insider trading. News today that he's going to step down as the chair of the Intel Committee. Should he resign altogether?
I don't know. I will tell you, Scott, I haven't followed that closely other than the headlines. We have been laser focused on this virus and the economy. I trust him to take the right actions during this period. And so I'll leave it at that right now. I think most Americans, certainly most Texans, aren't worried about Senator Burr. They're really worried about how we get back to work and how we save our small business.
Understood. But let me just follow up. Do you think it's appropriate for any member of Congress to own any individual stocks at all? And do you personally?
Well, of course, I think it's right for all Americans to be able to invest in the stock market and build up that nest egg. I think that's smart. Congress already has a number of safeguards in place. I think that's what they are using to analyze Senator Burr's action. I know when Congress acted before, we saw, not to point fingers, we saw a number of abuses with Speaker Pelosi's accounts and her actions in this regard. I think Congress has put in the right safeguards. I think all Americans ought to have an opportunity to build up their nest egg however they do it. Congress has to do it with the higher level accountability and ethics.
Well, I mean, there's an obvious difference in owning, mutual funds and ETFs, as I'm only allowed to do for obvious reasons around potential conflicts of interest. We don't want that. Why should it be any different for Congress? Well, I mean, there's a difference between investing and owning either individual stocks or funds.
Sure. The law, or Congress's law that we passed, prohibits us from using insider information to make those trades. We're very highly scrutinized. We're a pretty basic. I'll just tell you, we're a pretty basic family. We have retirement. We have a bunch of mutual funds. We let our dollars ride through this market. I'm pretty confident about where it will go in the long term. But I think Congress has adequate safeguards. Let's continue to apply them. I think that's the smart way to do it.
Congressman, I wish you well. I hope you stay well. We'll talk to you again soon.